Good evening, everyone. How are we? I hope you're okay. Evening, Claire, Kelly, Alison. Felicity, evening. Hope you're well. Zoe and Jackie. I'm excited for this evening. I'm just letting a couple more people in and then we will get started. I'm really excited for you to hear some of our speakers this evening. We've got a couple of incredible stories that are going to be shared this evening and lots of value and tips for you guys as well. I'm just going to, I think everybody's on mute, so that's okay. And I'm going to record this as well. So I know some people are at work and they've messaged me to say, I don't want to miss it, please can you record it, etc. And I know they're going to take lots of value and tips from this evening. So welcome everybody. I am Rhiannon Murray. I'm excited to be your host for this evening. I know we're going to have lots of value and lots of tips for you guys. And the call is all about body confidence, helping ourselves feel better, feel healthier, have a more zest for life, but also having a life with a bit more freedom and some balance along the way as well, because we've all got to still have our fun time as well, right? And life gets very boring otherwise. So yes, I'm excited for this evening. So we're going to have Ange speaking about her journey. She's got an incredible story that I'm really excited to hear from her this evening. She is absolutely like Wonder Woman in my eyes, because she has got, she's shaking her head, but when you hear her story, you'll absolutely agree with me. She's got so many tips for motivation and self-discipline as well. So I know you guys are really going to benefit from that. Alison is going to share her story as well, which I'm really excited to hear because I haven't heard that yet. And Zoe's going to talk to us a little bit about some products she's been using and just kind of like a real basic on how she uses them and what they are. So yes, I'm excited to kick this off. So just wanted to share with you briefly a bit about my story. I'm not going to take you back to the beginning of when I used the products, but I will take you back to 2020 when really lockdown happened, right? Who had a bit of a challenging time during lockdown? Yes, I think everybody, and me included, you know, and just because we're part of the business and use the products religiously, it doesn't make us superhuman, right? And there's lots of bad foods out there, and you name it. And for me personally, personal situations in my normal day-to-day life got really challenging. And 2020, as well as lockdown, really was probably one of the most challenging years for me ever. And my self-care went completely out the window. I really started to not look after myself at all. And I think it was actually New Year's Eve in 2020 when we were thinking about obviously coming to the new year. How do you feel? What do you want to do with your next year, etc. And I just said to my husband, like, I have to sort myself out. You know, I'd really deteriorated. I noticed in my mindset, my health was still very good in terms of you know, my immune system and things like that, because I still continue to take the capsules, of course. But as far as body shape were concerned, I was eating the wrong things, not looking after myself. My mindset wasn't good. And I just felt really down on myself, to be honest. So when I came into 2021, I was like, come on, Rhi, you've got to sort yourself out. It's time to start looking after yourself again. And I really went back on my journey last year, and I dropped a couple of dress sizes, and I can't even tell you, you know, coming into this year, like how much better I felt in myself. I just felt like I had the old Rhi back, I had a spring in my step, and I'm just really excited about this year to progress even further. And I just feel really confident this year that I'm going to be in the best shape that I've ever been in. Even after having, you know, twin boys those years ago, I think I always thought I'm never going to have that body back. But actually now I really have that belief system where actually I can. You know, we have obviously the best products in our hands, and it just goes down to using it properly and making good diet choices 80% of the time, and just moving a bit more, right, and looking after and protecting that mindset of ours, because it is so important. And I guess that's why we're holding this call, because we know there are so many people still in the same situation, maybe only now coming out of the kind of lockdown scenario, that need to look after their health and start to think about more self-care and get more goodness in, and just plug together as a community, I guess, to support women, especially, it's a women's only call tonight, especially, you know, grouping together as a community to empower one another and really support each other through the good days, through the bad days. And I think you'll take a lot away from this call tonight, that's really going to support that. So I am going to introduce Ange to you. I've obviously given a bit of a background. I'm definitely not going to tell her story. She's going to tell it to you herself. She's been on a massive journey in lots of different ways, shapes and form. She's going to share her journey with you, and then she's going to share some really valuable tips for you to be able to take away and perhaps use in your day-to-day as well. Let's unmute you, Ange. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, yes, where do we start? Initially, it was 6 years ago now, but it only feels like yesterday. So I started with our berry capsules, and that wasn't something that I went into and thought, oh yeah, I'll do this. I was very, very skeptical at the start, and my friends were saying, because the issue I was having was that my hair was falling out in clumps, and these pieces, I still can't get over these pieces. I was having little bald patches, and that really knocked my confidence. So a couple of my friends had already started on berries and on some of the premiums as well, our fruit and vegetable capsules, and they were trying to get me to start on the berries. So it did take me probably about 3 or 4 months before I actually gave in and thought, oh, just to shut them up, I will try these berry capsules. What's the worst that can happen? So I started on the berries, and that was in April of 2016. And within weeks, I was like, oh my God, these are magic little potions. Why haven't I started these before? My hair had started, I think that the first thing I noticed was in the shower, and I'm sure we've all experienced it, with trying to clear the plug hole and things with the amount of hair that was going. And then I started noticing when I was blow drying it that there wasn't so much hair in my brush. And then even when I then went to the hairdresser, and she was like, oh, have you changed your shampoo? Have you been using this? Have you been using that? And I was like, no, I haven't changed anything. And I think it was just that somebody else noticing that actually then made me think these berries must be working. So carried on taking them. And then with that, it came my nails, because they were very fragile, breaking, brittle. And I was going to have gel overlays and some extensions on a couple of them as well. And then my nail technician was saying, no, you don't need to have your extensions anymore. So it was just pure gel on my nails. And I was going then every sort of 3.5 to 4 weeks to have my nails done. And then that was going down to sort of 3 weeks that I was needing to have them done. And then it was every 2 weeks, it was between 10 days and 14 days. And that's where I am at the moment still, is I know that I come up and I'm like, oh, I need to have my nails done. So yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed. And that for me, I didn't really think too much of it. It was just, yeah, take the 2 capsules a day and that's great. So obviously with that did come the confidence that I started obviously tying my hair up, and then I wasn't having to pull the front pieces down because I was trying to hide my bald patches because they're growing back lovely. And then at the time, my friends were saying, oh, well, if you're having excellent results from the berries, why don't you try other things? And I was like, I don't need anything else. I'm quite happy just on the berries. And at the time as well, I was with another weight loss company, which I thought was the bee's knees at the time. So I thought that I knew everything about eating healthily and losing weight in the right way, which looking back, I was mistaken really, because I didn't know about the nutrition and things like that. So rolling on, 4 years. So we then started and obviously went into lockdown in 2020. So for me, I'm a corporate worker. So for me, doing a 40, 50, 60-hour week is the norm for me. So it's like out the door in the morning, coming back, 8, 9, 10 hours later. So to go from that to then being stuck in the living room and having my computer in front of me and just sat there for those sort of 9, 10 hours, I started to feel very sluggish, because what happened in that 4 years is that I'd had a car accident and health deteriorated and things like that. So I had to medically shield during lockdown. So going from that sort of fast life to then just being sat in the chair thinking, oh my God, is this life? So I thought I need to start doing something because like I said, I was feeling sluggish and I could just feel it's the bloat and I was like, oh, just feeling all day, every day. So I started talking to Ree and there was a suggestion then to start on shakes. And at the time I thought, I cannot live on shakes. So anybody who knows me knows that I've got to have information inside out, back to front, upside down, and everything else. So I've got to do my research. So that's what I went off and did, had some links, had some YouTube clips, and then I was reading, watching videos and things and thought, oh, do you know what? If they're half as good as these berries have turned out, then again, I've got nothing to lose. So started on the shakes, and that was, I think, even though we went into lockdown in March, it wasn't until about the July time I started on the shakes. And after a week, I was like, Ange, you've got to stop doing this all the time. Because it was just, I don't know, even, and again, thinking I was having a good breakfast, I wasn't, because it was probably lunchtime by the time I was starting to eat anything. And just introducing the shakes there in the morning, I was like, oh, this is really good. I've got energy. And then I even like work, I was like, oh, doing more. And just some of the benefits I was having. I was coming out to meetings and then people were like, oh my God, Ange, what are you doing? We need some of that. And because obviously you don't really realize it in yourself, do you? And then I started, because obviously I felt like a caged animal during lockdown and just being in the house. So I started just from here to the crossroads is roughly about a mile. So I started just walking to the crossroads and back every day, just to get that fresh air and just to get out the house. So moving on from that, then I started doing the Couch to 5K. So I downloaded the app for that and started doing that. So that was probably about twice a week that I would start jogging. And I think I was stuck on week 3 for a good couple of weeks because I just couldn't go any further. And then obviously looking at the information that was available going alongside the shakes, I then started looking at the Omegas because it was saying about joint recovery and, well, the pure liquid gold that they are. So I ordered some of them. And it was sort of with my mum on that because she has hip problems. So I was saying to her, well, I've read all this about this and I think you should start on them. And she was like, oh, no, I don't know. And I was like, Mum, this is exactly how I was. This is what you need to have. So I said, I tell you what, we'll just go halves on them. We'll split them. You have one lot and I'll have the other. So that's how I started then with the Omegas. And again, at a very short time, I was running and doing this Couch to 5K. And I've said to my husband many a time, oh my God, who is this person? This person doesn't run. So anyway, went through that Couch to 5K. And then there was a charity that is very close to my heart. And they started a running challenge to run 200 miles in 100 days. So I thought, I'm going to do that, but I can't do it here and now. So going into September, October time of 2020, I signed up to do, the first one was only 30 miles in the October, which I thought, if I can do that mile a day, that's only to the crossroads. So I only have to get to the crossroads and I'll have done my mile. So I was doing that, and that was okay, just sort of jogging, walking, jogging, walking. And then going after Christmas, I saw a couple in the group, in our customer group and amongst the team, had signed up then to do 50 miles for Maggie's charity run. So I thought, oh yeah, I can do this. So went through that in the January. So I signed up then for Dementia Challenge then in the February. And then the March was for cancer in young children. So I signed up and did, that was 50 miles again in the March. And then coming into the April, I was getting very close to the start of this 200 miles in 100 days. So I thought, well, I can give it a go. And if all else fails, then at least I can walk and still cover the miles. So during that time, I hadn't really realized that I was losing weight. And then it was around this time last year, we started a 40-day transformation. And we started roughly around the end of February, I think, in line with Lent last year. And then coming to the end of that 40 days, I just remember that a few people had been put in there before and afters in the group. And I had a beautiful pair of jeans that I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go and try these on now to see if they actually fit. So I went and put them on and they just didn't fit at all. They were just 2 sizes too big. So that was a bit of a shock because, and I think because we'd been in lockdown and I was still sort of stuck in the house, that apart from my running gear, I wasn't really wearing anything else. So then to sort of get dressed up and put tidy clothes on, I then started realizing that, well, actually, I have lost weight. And I think the good thing around that was that scales hadn't been looked at. And then I stood on the scales and I was like, something wrong with them. And then when I actually looked back to when I started in that July, just before starting on the shakes, to that point, I'd lost 3.5 stone. And I still couldn't believe it. So just carried on. Went through the 200 miles and finished that. But I couldn't stop running. I was getting itchy feet and I had the bug, as people called it. And before starting running, I had no idea what this running bug was, but obviously I'd caught it. So I eventually went and increased my goal and thought, perhaps I could run 2,021 kilometers in 2021. So I was on track for that. And then unfortunately, COVID hit before Christmas and knocked me sideways. And I didn't think I was going to hit that goal. But then it was Christmas Eve and I thought, oh, I actually think I can go back and run. But I couldn't run because I was still not very well, but I jogged. So I jogged up to the crossroads and I walked back. Then Christmas Day, I went out and jogged there and back. And then the same Boxing Day and the day after. And then since then, I've been back into running every day. So I think it's day 81 today. So that's sort of where my running was, to go from not even really being able to walk to the crossroads in lockdown without getting out of breath to now running at least 3 miles a day. And I've added some more other products on as well. So I can't go a day now without Perform, which is our new recovery shake, protein shake. That for me has just been a total game changer. We've started a 30-day transformation. I think that's day 11 today. And with that as well, because I wanted to push myself a little bit more, I started doing a hard 30 as well. So I'm doing one lot of exercise outdoors and I'm also doing one exercise indoors. So I'm either hula hooping, doing a HIIT workout, or just following a YouTube clip for at least 20 minutes every day inside as well. And within that, and that's where I'll come on in a minute about how we have to look after ourselves and make time for ourselves. There is part of that challenge is all around self-care. So it could be that you're just sitting in silence and enjoying a warm cup of tea in the morning before life gets manic. It could be just that you're reading a book, or it could be that you're like reading a magazine or things like that. So making sure that there's time there, at least 20 minutes for myself in the day. Yeah, that's sort of my journey, I think, of the products to where we are. There have been days where sometimes it's been a struggle to get out of bed. Like I said, that obviously I had that car accident 4 years ago, and that still paying the price of it. But with mindset and just doing calls on Zoom and the community, and just having support, customers telling us about their benefits and the journeys that they're having, really does boost me up and just warms my insides like nothing else. Between that and also I'm very, very organized, to the point where people say that I have OCD, but I like to say CDO just to get them in the right order. So for me, organization, meal planning, making sure that you know exactly where you are for the whole week, that really does set me up. So my Sundays now are planning days. So I will get my meal plan out, I'll get my recipe books out. If there's any recipes and things I've seen like in the customer group and think, I'm definitely trying that this week, that goes on the list. So I make sure that I know exactly what we're having for the week. And then I will do my shopping list from that menu plan. And that sort of has a two-way benefit, because one, you're saving money because you're not going to the shop thinking, oh, I'll just have that, and then obviously not using what you're buying straight off. So you know exactly what you're having, you know your meals, and then you're also saving that money. But then secondly, you're saving the temptation as well, because if there's no temptation in the house, then you're less likely to sort of go off track and have more than what you've planned to. So from that, I make sure that in that week I do have a cheat meal. Okay, and that I think took me a while to get into having a cheat meal and not a cheat day, which then came down from a cheat weekend, because you get to Friday afternoon and think, yes, got through the week, let's have a cheat meal. And then Saturday it's like, oh, well, you know, start again on Monday. So all that hard work for the week, you're just ruining in those 2 days. So that is a top tip, that if you are having cheat meals, keep it as that meal, and then get straight back onto it after that meal, because in the long run, your body will enjoy it more, because you're not getting fed up and thinking, oh, let's just eat this, let's eat that, let's get it out the way, out the house, no more. You know, that temptation's gone. So that's another tip. The way that I sort myself out, like I said, that obviously being very organized, is I have a diary, and in there I will write down an appointment time for when I'm going out for my run, or whether it's morning or afternoon, depending on where I am in work as well. Because we're so good at scheduling and splitting ourselves into two for other people, and sometimes we're not very good at doing it for ourselves. So if we plan in our diary, then we are less likely to give up and to give up on ourselves. And I'm a strong believer in saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you can't look after yourself properly, then what hope have you got of helping other people and looking after other people? So yeah, that's, I think they're my top tips, is making sure that you're scheduling time for yourself, making sure that those meal plans are there, and organizing exactly what you're having when you're having, because that also gives you the benefit of looking forward and enjoying your off-plan meal much more. Saving money, so pop it in your holiday fund or whatever that you want, and or something just to treat yourself. Oh, that's another one as well. I used to treat myself with food, but now I don't. Don't tell the husband, but it's normally pens or pencils or a new notebook or things like that that I treat myself with now. So that's good, because that's got longer term rewards, because every time you use that notebook or the pens or whatever it is and trainers is the other one that I'm obsessed with at the moment. So you feel much better having those, because the longer reward is there for you. And then planning in your meals and your cheat meal, and then straight back onto it the next day. So I think they are my top tips. Mindset as well. One other thing that has helped me with my running so much is, because I still don't see myself as a runner, I'm reading a couple of books around that mindset. One I've read is Run Like a Girl, and that's really good for focusing the mind around exercise. And I've also just bought Jog On, so I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. So yeah, reading and all the other little tips I mentioned there. So that's me. So I would love now to introduce Alison, who has also had an amazing journey, and I'm so proud of you. So if you'd like to come off mute, if we can do that. Oops.
Okay.
Welcome, Alison.
Hi. For those that don't know me, my name's Alison, and I'm 59 next month. Just like the rest of you, lockdown was really difficult for myself. I've had a full-time career, basically, most of my working life, bringing up my children. Then went to work in a school, but had to give up that job because I became a full-time carer towards my parents. That was challenging in itself, because your identity basically goes when you full-time care for an elderly relative. And I lost my mum in December 2020, and I'd lost my dad in January 2021. And then I drank Prosecco as if it was pop, and I ate rubbish to the point where sort of 5-6 months in, I'd put on loads and loads of weight, and I was in a bad place, and I had some counselling. And what came out of counselling for me was, you've always put other people first or done things for other people. What do you do for yourself? And how do you put yourself first? And I thought, I don't think I ever have put myself first. I've always put my children first, their interests first, and then my parents. So basically, I was a Facebook friend with Ange, could see that Ange was doing amazing things running, didn't know Ange's history in terms of running or anything. But I asked her about the products, and she said the benefits she had from them. And I thought, well, what have I got to lose, really? So my mindset was, let's do something about this. And at the same time, my daughter was training for a triathlon. And in my younger years, sort of in my late teens, I was a very good swimmer. So I knew, even though I was way overweight, I could still help her with technique swimming. So that was a biggie for me, because I joined the leisure centre. I didn't have the confidence to go to things other than go in the pool, basically. So helped my daughter through the summer with swimming, and I got better and better at it. And I started to do 64 lengths each time I went. So I was doing 5 miles a week, swimming without too much difficulty and losing weight really. And I would stick relatively to 2 shakes a day and then a home cooked meal at night. And I sort of gave up alcohol. Then from there, I've got a wedding in 4 weeks' time. I went to try an outfit on in October in a shop in Swansea, and I was determined that I was going to get into a size lower than that. So when the sale came Christmas time, I bought the size down from that. And I also had the confidence, I was about 3.5 stone down by Christmas. I had the confidence to start doing classes at the leisure centre, and these classes are amazing. I've never been to step classes. I've never been to yoga classes before. I hadn't been to strength body conditioning classes before. And I started just going to classes that I wanted to try out. And it was, yeah, a life changer, really, a game changer. I go to yoga, I do body conditioning, I do lots of strength because I'm aware of muscle mass going at my age. And I go to about 14 classes a week. And I always take Saturday off. I have had blips. It's only last month I buried my mother's ashes, and that weekend I ate 3 large Easter eggs. And I know I did it because the trigger for me is emotional stress. And if I'm emotionally stressed, the first thing I'll do is eat rubbish and I'll gorge on it. But instead of beating myself up for days and days after, I just stick to the products and know that if I go back to just healthy cooking, I can just keep going. I still want to lose a couple of stone, but through all the exercise I've been doing, I know I'm in a such better place than I was basically not even 12 months ago now. But the products definitely help in keeping me full, not eating rubbish. I tend to have a shake in the morning, chocolate shake with cut up pineapple to the side, natural yogurt, bit of granola, fresh fruit. Midday, then I'll have another shake and some fruit in the afternoon, and then I'll have a home cooked meal. And that's basically it, really. And I just want to keep going and not beat myself up. Really appreciate Ange's little messages. They always keep me on track when they come through, because I think, well, it's worth it. And yeah, for the first time in years, I'm in my size 14 jeans. I'd like to get another size lower than that. But I'm happy, basically, and that's it.
Amazing, Al. Thank you so much. You incredible. Every time you message me and I just see, and like you said, your confidence and to go to class and things is just, I think, like you said, you are a different person to when we were having conversations this time last year. So you should be so proud of yourself.
Cheers.
Oh, thank you. And I'd like to introduce you now over to our Zoe, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the products that she's been using more recently, and some of the fantastic recipes that she's got from them as well. So here's Zoe.
Good evening, ladies. Hi. Oh, I loved listening to that. Thanks for sharing that, Ange. And I can't remember the lady, Alison. Thank you for sharing that, Alison. That's an amazing testimonial of how the products have helped you. And also, I know Ange loves the shakes as well, and they've, you know, helped you on your sort of weight loss journey. So that kind of brings me here really to talk about the product itself. So these are high quality, and as you can see, they come in 2 flavors. Absolutely love these. I started on these myself. Sort of hit lose the weight. So I mean, absolutely brilliant for not just weight loss, but also weight management, weight gain as well. People have, you know, added them into their meals for weight gain. How I use this is I tend to have one every morning for breakfast, because it fills me up, and it keeps me going till sort of lunchtime. And I know that I'm flooding my body with lots of good nutrition. So these are like a whole food shake. So they give you a great fats, there's fibers, vitamins and minerals. So they are a really good, nutritious, on the go meal. You can make so many different recipes with these. I mean, I've got a few favorites. So I'm sort of a bit of a cheesecake fan. So I like to make lemon cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, you name the cheesecake, I absolutely love it. So it's not just a case of having a chocolate or a vanilla, you know, you mix these with other ingredients to make lots of different recipes. This morning I had crunchy. So just to give you an idea, you know, with that, I made it with the chocolate mix, with a little bit of honey, and a spoonful of peanut butter. And I like to use almond milk or coconut milk. They tend to be my sort of go-to milks that I enjoy. So we do advise you to use plant milk loss journey. Also, these are so versatile, and you can make so many different things with these mix, not just shakes. I have got a bit of a reputation for being the pancake queen, so you can actually make pancakes with these as well. And I have the you know, if you are, and that's the great thing as well. So when you buy into these products, you can also get access to our healthy eating plan, our customer group. So there's a healthy eating plan in there, lots of recipes, not just for shakes, but meals as well, snacks, everything. There's a complete support community in there. And it's not just, you know, from the health coaches, it's also the customers will post in there. People will talk about what they're struggling with or ask questions in there. So you'll there's always somebody to answer your question. So I absolutely love a meal, and you know, if you're a busy person as well, you can make them up the night before, put them in the fridge, you know, take it to work with you, or whatever it is you're doing the next day. They're absolutely brilliant. So I now have these every single day, and even when I go on holiday, I take them on holiday with me. They stop me from feeling bloated. Like I say, they, you know, they keep you fuller for longer, so they're absolutely brilliant. So yeah, so that's a bit of information on our shakes.
I love that, Zoe. It makes me want to go and have one now. I had to have one this afternoon, ladies, it was after the school run, so it was about 3:30 when I came in from the school run. I had this real chocolate craving. I've been doing so well. And I was like, oh, I could just go in the cupboard now. And I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to whip up a chocolate shake and put some frozen cherries in it. And it was absolutely lovely. So yes, completely get that. So it's such a great product. And it was definitely the first product I started on 8 years ago. And I will have as a non-negotiable, you know, 6 days a week at least, if not 7, and literally makes you crave the good stuff. So yes, thank you so much for sharing, Zoe.
You're welcome.
So that brings me on to close the call this evening. So I hope you guys have taken lots of value. And I just want to touch on one last thing before we go as well, is Zoe was talking about, you know, the community aspect, and that is what we do, you know, on the business side of things as well. So obviously we have a product that we absolutely love, and what we do as part of the business side of things, I don't really like to call it business, because we have so much fun doing it, and business sounds boring to me, that we are just a community of people who love to share these incredible products with people. Now, you guys might go to a cinema, and you might see a good film, and then you're going to recommend it to people, right? You might go to a really good restaurant, and then you think, oh, I had a great meal, I'm going to recommend it to somebody. And when you do those things, you don't get paid for it, right? So what our business is, in a nutshell, is taking the products and absolutely loving it yourself, and literally just telling people about it. We connect with so many people. You know, I didn't even know, you know, Jackie or Zoe before they were part, you know, they came on board obviously as customers, seen them in the client group, and further down their journey, they decided to join the team community and help other women feel as great as we do. And that is initially our business and our team community in a nutshell. It is really just sharing the love, because I don't know about you guys, the people who are obviously on this call who already know about the products. I just feel as a place from myself, if I don't share this with other people, then I'm literally doing a disservice to the world, because I am so grateful every single day that I have these products in my life, my husband's life, my mum's life, my children's life, to help them feel better and just get fast food nutrition in every day, regardless of the busyness and going on, right? So what's obviously good is that we build that team community. We have a lot of fun. Now, I know a lot of people are very, very busy. Don't get me wrong, when I started the business 8 years ago, the twins were 2 years old and running rings around me, and they're probably doing the same roundabout now. Lots of people do this business in, you know, just by talking to people and recommending the product. You might see us building business on social media. That's not something people have to do. They can recommend a product, whether it's online or offline, it really doesn't matter. You don't have to be, you know, doing live videos or anything like that. You know, what we love is that we help people build a business that is absolutely right for them. And with the cost of living increasing all the time, you know, petrol prices going up, gas, electricity, I cannot believe the amounts that they're going up right now. And we know how beneficial having an extra £200 to £500 a month can make such a massive positive impact on lots of families' lives as well, just from simply recommending this product to people. We obviously support people when they come into the team with a full mentorship program. They can tell us, you know, some people join the team, they say, I don't want to do social media, I just love the product and I want to tell my friends and family, and they want to order from their own office and get a discount on their products and just embrace the team community, all the positivity, friendships and the fun, and that's absolutely fine. And then some people join the business and they find out about a £119,000 bonus program, and they say, right, I need a bit of that. Can you support me in building a business that's aligned for them in the time that they want to put in at a pace that's perfect for them? And we are all about supporting people at their level. It's not people join us and we say, right, you got to do that, you got to do that, you got to have this time, you got to have that time. It's absolutely not the case. We come from a place of, you know, really wanting to build a community and just spreading the love for these products that we found that we know help so many people, you know, like Zoe or Ange or Alison, you know, and we're just super, super proud to represent this company and really just build our team community along the way. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this call this evening. I think it's been such great value and inspiration. And if anybody is thinking, you know, you need more information about either the product, you need to rehear some of those free value tips, or there's some burning questions you've got to ask, or you are, you know, thinking, do you know what, I'd love to be a part of that team community and get some discount on my products, help some family and friends, or you might want to build a business, build a part-time or a a full-time income over time, please go back to the person that invited you onto this call tonight and just ask them for a bit more information, or any questions you've obviously got, feel free to ask. But we are here, fun and friendly team, and we really just do want to spread the love of what we do and help so many people feel more confident, healthier, happier, and just live a really much fulfilled quality of life. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us all tonight. Have a great rest of your evening, and like I said, go back to anybody else if you've got so many questions, and we'll be more than happy to help. So thank you so much for joining, guys. Much love. Speak to you all soon.